Hola, buenos días, soy Nico.
Fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it. Fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go, bitch.
And today we're here to start off another wonderful week's worth of content. Well, yes, but before we get started, if you like this kind of content, make sure to follow me on patreon.com/Nicosaesthetics for more exclusive videos, 200 plus to be exact, and to be a part of the live streams where we have multifaceted conversations with a varied panel and various topics depending on the week. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in. Nico, last video's comment was going over the Nico's vintage highlight, basically where I talked about Taken Down 2, where I'll try to continue doing those every Friday. Someone basically said, has anyone ever found out the whereabouts of Tiger Tyson? To my knowledge, he is either in Jersey or still in New York. He is just very low-key married with kids, which I can respect because he left the industry behind, seeing as how he even said himself, you get what you can when you can, then you get out of it. It's really that simple. That's also why I'm still planning on retiring. But before we get started, if you see that I am not fully into this video and or my spirits are not high, my grandfather, who was basically like a father figure to me, my father was always in my life. My father is an ever-present figure in my life. But my grandfather was the one who taught me how to be a true upstanding man and a good member of your community. He unfortunately passed away on, I think, Monday. There was supposed to be a Monday video, but I got the news Monday. And I'm currently planning to fly back home Friday and then come back on Sunday. Nico, didn't you just fly back for your older sister's funeral? Yes. So within the span of a month, I've lost two pinnacle figures in my life. And it makes you really sit down and think about things and what's important in life. And before I get too distracted with the conversation, I'm sorry for the late upload. I'm sorry for if there's not a Friday video because I'm flying home to bury a man that I aspire to be someday. And honestly, I've gotten all the crying out. I'm a little hollow right now, but I'm here to pay my bills. Because honestly, this is a conversation in particular that I'm not necessarily ecstatic about, but let's get to it. Nico, today we're going to be talking about how you don't deserve community if I don't get to smash. Nico, what do you mean? So this is actually going to be going over two different conversations, but it's all rounded into the same conversation. We'll start off with Milan Christopher. We'll just get that out the way because this is the easiest thing to just fly by. Milan Christopher got into it with another performer named Milli because he came online and basically aired him out, saying that Milli wanted to go into his own toy production. So he reached out to Milan Christopher, seeing as how he has his own toy line, to see which brands are reputable. Which is a simple, easy question, especially because nowadays people scam. Not every link is trustworthy. Not every, click and point and view and this YouTube video says that not everything is reliable. So going to someone who has had it done, who has made the product and made a profit off of it, just to say which company did you reach out to make the mold, would be a rational thing. We're all a part of the community, especially because they're both adult content creators. To my knowledge, Milli usually collaborates with trans performers. So Milan Christopher said, well, if you want something, I want something too. Nico, what do you mean? He said, if I give you the link to the website that I made it at, can I get some pipe? Mind you, Milan Christopher is in his 40s. Nico, grown man in his 40s. And rather than looking out for someone who is coming into the industry and wanting to slightly dip into his avenue of creating toys so that he himself can profit off of his full form, he said that he wanted something strange for this piece of change of information. And I think that's disgusting. Nico, what do you mean? Yes, I think it's okay to say we should be able to have community without you getting sexual access to me. And I feel like that's where a lot of the community falls off because a lot of us are men. It's true, LGBT community, a lot of us are men, and a lot of men move off of impulsive instincts and just physical pleasure. So when Milli came to air him out, Milan Christopher got upset. So he got one of his homegirls to come read him, basically saying, Why could someone else get a taste and I can't if you want this information? You really thought you was gonna get something for free when you online naked and having super happy adult fun time with people that you actually want to touch? But I can't touch you for a link? And Milan Christopher, like the tweet bird he is, was in the comments going, yeah, read him sis, and at 40 years old, because I always tell y'all, with age, it's supposed to come wisdom. And I understood that when I said this a couple of times, people said, your age is for saying you should learn to be a better human as you age through life. And I still stand on that. So you can still have that point of view if you want. But in my head, I'm not thinking, oh yeah, a simple name of a company, literally maybe 11 letters, is worth physical access to somebody's body. And then when they put you on blast, because girl, I would have put you on blast too. I would have been a little more subtle because I throw shade, but you never know who it's directed at. So honestly, you being upset that he put you on blast because you said if you want the name of a website that's trustworthy enough to make a product, you have to sleep with me. That is some grimy. And I don't understand why in the community we've made it so simple that we can demand physical and or visual pleasures from someone for human decency, for community, basically. So in this situation, no, I'm not on Milan Christopher's side. Milan Christopher looked very thirsty in this moment to me personally. And that's a personal thought. Y'all can show in this video. I personally don't care that much. But that was very thirsty. And then to have your friends try to berate and degrade him because he said, it's crazy of you that you expected access to my body for an 11-letter word. Yeah, so now that we're on this conversation, we're going to be moving over into the more mainstream part of this video, which is August Alsina and Zoo. Nico, who are they? For the longest time, because I remember I did a video when they first came out and said, we are together. I love this man. He has showed me a love that I've never experienced before. So they were hired to promote a party for Atlanta Black Gay Pride. Nico, everybody was in Atlanta this weekend for some gay shenanigans. And people kept DMing me, Atlanta? No, baby, I know what you are. I'm not there. Mentally, I was not in the mindset for that, but also, girl, I'm not interested in that at all. So, in this moment, people began to berate them by saying, I don't think you deserve this opportunity because we still believe that your relationship is fake. We need to see you kiss. We need to see you be intimate. We need to see you smash. And August Alsina rightfully retweeted it saying, this is a party, not super happy adult fun time. What are y'all even on? And that's my questioning, because when I did the video on them coming out saying that they're together, I got comments saying they're not really gay. They're not really bi. It's all a publicity stunt. You should stop falling for the smoke and mirrors. You should stop falling for all the tricks. This is fake. This is fake because we don't get to see them smash. And I'm just sitting here like, I'm not one of those people. Maybe it's because I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm very logical. I go based on what people show and what I can see in public. If somebody is with the same individual for 5 years and they say we have been together for 5 years and I love this man more than anything, and y'all won't believe it because you haven't seen them make out and get physical. And this is coming from a super happy adult fun time performer. Nico, I perform videos. I've been naked in public at nude beaches. Like, I'm a very explorative and very sensual and free person. But at the same time, I understand that everyone has boundaries. Everyone is allowed to say, these are my boundaries, and I do not want to cross them for a general populace of people that I don't know. Nico, what do you mean? Because that's the thing. A bunch of strangers don't believe the validity of their relationship because they have never seen them smash and or kiss. Mind you, boys been together for 5 years, always sighted together, always in pictures together, never seen apart for the most part. So when they didn't get what they wanted, they began to spin the narrative because August Alsina and Zoo came online to say, we're going 5 years strong. They rounded up because August Alsina said, I expect to be in this position with him at 5 years. So I'm like, okay, cool. Personally, I do not know August Alsina's age and Zoo's age, but people begin to speculate online saying, wait, so y'all got together when August was 27 and Zoo was 17? Wow, that's so messy, but y'all don't really care because they fine. And most people do not know these people's information. Most people do not know their dynamic, especially them in particular, because they are an extremely private couple. So they began to run with things because they did not get to see them act on sexual actions. So from there, they both had to come out where Zeus said, actually, no. I'm not for the internet. I'm not for the drama. August Alsina is my boyfriend. We have been together going on 5 years. He rounded up. But also, I'm not gonna lie, I lied about my age when we first met, and he only found out about it when he met my family. But at the same time, I was of legal age, and he is an amazing partner. He is an amazing person that I've been with, that have shown me things, that provides for me, that's been there for anything I wanted to actually do and explore. So now I don't care what y'all think. And August Alsina began to talk up too, seeing as how he's a private person. He came online to shut that shit down quick. Nico, he basically retorted to anybody that would come at him crazy. And someone said, wow, it's crazy that you exposed yourself as a bottom. And he's like, first and foremost, I don't know where y'all got that. But secondly, girl, who are you? And people begin to say, well, I just think it's crazy that you're not defending yourself because it makes you look even more guilty. And he had to respond with, you are not a judge. You are not a juror. You are not in charge of my life. You do not affect my life. Why do you people have such narcissistic tendencies and personalities to expect people to come online and explain themselves to you when you're the one that has a problem with them that you don't even know? Nico, why are you getting passionate about this? Because I relate to I relate to that. Even in my videos, I never say you have to come online and explain yourself. You have to come here and answer to me. You have to do this. But for some reason, if you are in the public eye, not even just a public figure, because this happens to regular people all the time. If people online see you and they feel a way about you, they can make up a lie. And if you don't sit there and defend yourself to their lie, you are then seen as guilty. You are seen as guilty in the public law. And I'm just sitting here like, so you expect people to spend their free time, because everybody works. Nico, that's what I'm doing right now, because honestly, I don't even want to be on camera, but I'm working. Everybody works. Everybody has to deal with in their real life. And you expect people to come online and defend themselves to a bunch of faceless strangers to be seen as innocent in the case of public law. And then even when they do explain themselves, oh, I just don't believe it. And oh, I believe the rumor. I believe the lie, when there's no actual proof behind what most people say online. I don't get it. I don't get it, because even if we have situations where we do the purity route, like August Alsina and Zoo, they believe in privacy. They do not kiss on each other. They do not get sloppy. They do not get tipsy, super happy adult fun time on camera. You ain't never seen them act out of character. But even with them, they were refused access as a legitimate couple of going on 5 years because they did not put their sexual exploits and or titillating content online for people to see. Now we can take it to the extreme. Because Milli is an adult performer who tends to work with trans performers, when he asked another adult performer, Milan Christopher, hey, could you simply tell me the brand or the website you went to make your toy? I'm interested in investing in my own career. He was met with, well, you gonna give me some if I do? Meanwhile, once again, 11-letter word. This community is tiring. This community is tiring. And I say this as somebody who has seen it from the YouTube perspective before I started doing OnlyFans. When I started doing OnlyFans, I'm partially retired right now. The only time you really see me on camera is if one of my homeboys is like, hey, I want to make a video. And I'm like, girl, okay. I'm really not that invested anymore. So me personally, point is, we have two different sides of the spectrum of Madonna complex, where one is a private couple that doesn't cause no trouble, the other is a public performer, and yet they're both being met with the same conversation of, you do not deserve community and or resource gathering unless we have some form of sexual access to you. And I wanted to sit down and wonder, when will that stop and why is that the case? Because it's easy to explain it away by saying we are a community largely made up of men. The more visible portions of our community is always given to gay or bi men, unfortunately. So it's easy to say men act like that. Men expect that, because even in nightlife, I remember I work in nightlife, I promote parties. There was one party promoter, who heard that I lightly hooked up with one of his friends. Nico, why do you say lightly? Because it was after I had left the party And I texted him because we had met at multiple events. And I'm like, hey, I'm in Harlem. Would you like to link up? He's like, sure. So I go to his place and he already has 2 drinks made. I was raised in a house of women. I'm not just going to drink anything you hand me. So I said, hey, would you mind switching glasses with me just because I didn't see you make it? So he begrudgingly did it. And then he caught an attitude and he was like, I don't know. I just feel this type of way because clearly you don't trust me and you don't feel safe. And I'm like, well, I've ran into you in public 2 times prior, and I'm currently at your home at 3 a.m. with a random drink being headed to me. I'm not going to just believe that. So from there, he called it off. I'm like, okay, cool. All we really did was kiss. We ain't even get into like no physical interaction. The next time I ran into him and that club party promoter, he tried to slap me on the ass and said, I want to hit too. I mean, I do keep hiring you. And when I invite you to my sections, I just like to look at you because you're so beautiful. And I'm just sitting here like, listen, party promotions, I'm in the building. I am promoting the party to get you more tickets, not to get sexual access to you and vice versa. Second, I ain't even that boy. So the fact that he told you that I fucked him and you thought that meant because someone you know had access to me, you should also have access to me, and you tried to slap me on the ass without even trying to talk to me about that first? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I no longer work with that party promoter and or talk to that person, because at the end of the day, community building, resource gathering should not be reserved solely for people that you find attractive. It should not be reserved solely for people you want sexual access to. And that's why we consistently see so many positions in companies, nightlife, etc., where people are hired because of their appearance and because of your sexual want for them, and they can't do the job. They can't. So at this point, I'll leave the conversation up to y'all before I start to ramble, seeing as how I was able to relate it back to my own experiences. This conversation really annoyed me because for some reason, people can't seem to keep it in their pants when it comes to either business and or just building community. Have you met that issue where you tried to form a friendship, where you tried to form a friend group and you were met with unwanted advances? And if you said no and or resisted, suddenly you were no longer in the group, or oh, they always cause drama? Because I've been in situations like that too, where I've had to tell one of my friends when I first met their friends, ayo, so-and-so keeps trying to touch my ass. I keep slapping his hand away, but he keeps trying it, so you need to get him before I do. And at that point, he was like, oh, that's my homeboy, and he probably didn't mean it like that, and da-da-da-da-da. So I just stopped hanging out with him. Yes, girl, you get dropped by association. I'm not playing that. But with that being said, I'll leave the conversation up to y'all. I'm sorry once again for the late upload. Please have a little patience with me this week in particular, because I will not be at my full game, but I will see you guys next time. Boop. And now for a brief yet sincere shout out to this week's Third Eye Tier subscribers, Richard S. and Miles T. Your continued support is greatly appreciated, and thank you once again to everyone who supports the channel. We are 60 subscribers away from 46K girlies. And this week's live stream is going to be over. Was the vintage era even that good? Seeing as how a lot of people have varying opinions on the golden age of Black and brown adult cinematography. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in.